Hello and welcome back. We've got a really interesting question today, and one that's fundamental to the spiritual path. So, whether you are a longtime practitioner of A Course in Miracles, or you're just starting out, or if you're just checking this out, this is directly relevant to your journey, to your walk, your path, whatever it is you want to call your spirituality in this lifetime. We have a choice in the present moment between exactly two options. There are many ways in words that we could put this. The choice is one choice between exactly two options, not 8 billion options, not 375,200,000 options, although it often appears that way, doesn't it? In this world of multiplicity, things can get confusing really quickly. We've made that, so we can unmake it. Really, there's one choice with two options. And again, you can characterize this in any number of different ways. One is between love and fear, God or the ego, self with a capital S or self with a lowercase s. In other words, the ego. Light or dark, life or death. You name it. We have a choice of two voices as well that we could listen to. One is the voice for God, the Holy Spirit. The other is the ego. That's another way of characterizing this choice that each of us has in the present moment. We have an opportunity to make this choice. And if you just chose the ego 5 minutes ago, so what? You can choose yet again right now. It's an opportunity, and it's a choice that we get to make. I really do invite you to see it as something that we get the opportunity to do, not that we have to do. You see the difference in one's motivation just from characterizing it as get versus have, right? We get to versus we have to. So it's important because our free will has not been taken from us. We have the opportunity to choose right now. And if we don't hear the voice for God, the Holy Spirit, your inner teacher, if we don't hear the voice for God, it's because we're choosing not to listen. We're choosing the voice of the ego instead. It's our choice not to listen. If you're not listening to your inner teacher, that's your choice not to listen. It's not my choice that you're not listening. It's not your boss's choice. It's not your spouse's choice. It's not your abusive ex's choice. It's not your kid's choice. It's not your president or prime minister's choice. It's yours. It's yours. This is very powerful because all too often in the world, we want to play the victim, don't we? You may or may not consider yourself to be a poor me victim mentality person, but we've all been there. We all have, because we want to put this decision off on someone else. We want it to be someone else's fault that we're not listening to the voice for God. We do. We want to pin it on politicians. We want to pin it on our boss. We want to pin it on our ex. We want to pin it on anyone else but ourselves. That's projection. And we have all done it. You might be in the midst of it right now, but we don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You could choose instead to listen to your inner teacher. And naturally, that's what you're invited to do. We're all invited to do that. And this is valuable to spend a few minutes thinking about today, because and every day, it's really always valuable, because we spend so much time invested in the ego, in attempting to defend the ego, in defining and then defending our personal individual territory. We cherish the ego and we fight to preserve it. There are so many ways that this is true. And if you can't think of one, I invite you to just ponder this idea for a little while. You'll think of many ways that you, in fact, cherish and fight to save your ego, your individuality, and project your unconscious guilt onto someone else, making it their fault that you're frustrated. It's someone else's fault, for example. It's pervasive as we identify with the ego. It's what goes on here in the world. And because we don't, in the course of checking email and work and the kids and the dog and running errands and paying bills and eating, sleeping, going to the bathroom, what we call life here in the world, in the course of all that, it's really easy, isn't it, to get swept away. Especially these days with our modern technology, we have portable handheld computers that are more powerful than anything that existed 20 years ago or even 10 years ago, right? So we have imminent distractions all over the place. These ideas are valuable to contemplate, and it may require your unplugging for a little while in order to just think about this. We can't change our mind by changing our behavior, but we can change our mind. We can change our mind. This is something that Jesus talks about here in chapter 4, section 4 of the text, which we've moved on to, by the way. The title of this section is "This Need Not Be." And your suffering need not be. You can change your mind. Anytime you feel something that is not joyous, anytime you feel something that is not wholly joyous, anytime you feel discomfort or anxious, if you feel ill at ease for any reason, angry, sad, upset, anything that is not joyous, you can tell yourself, this need not be, because it doesn't have to be. I've said many times during this video series, and I'll say it now and say it again, of course. Anytime you don't feel joyous is an opportunity for forgiveness. It's an opportunity to forgive the person, the place, the thing, the idea that's causing you to feel not so joyous. That is an opportunity to forgive whatever is appearing to cause that. It's a perfect opportunity, a gift, in fact. This need not be. Yeah, at the conclusion of paragraph 2 here, Jesus tells us that as our brother, he's deeply concerned with our mind and invites us once again to follow him, to place him in charge of our mind. Yes, let your inner teacher take charge. Now, it doesn't make any difference whether you call your inner teacher Jesus, whether you call your inner teacher the Holy Spirit, or whether you call your inner teacher something else. That's only a name. It's only a symbolic label. It is. The real question is, are you listening to your inner teacher. It's a choice. I'm fond of saying that spirituality is an adult endeavor. It's for grown-ups. So my question to you is, are you sick of playing the victim? Are you sick of running around in circles in the same old pattern of frustration, guilt, blame, fear, and suffering? Are you sick of that yet? Do you choose to listen to your inner teacher? Because let me tell you this, your inner teacher is always calling to you. It's your inner teacher. I say that for emphasis right here. Your inner teacher is always calling you. Do you choose to listen? The call goes out to each and every one of us 24/7, all the time. It appears that few of us choose to listen. So will today be the day that you choose to listen? Now, you might be asking, all right, well, what's in it for me? Why should I care? Business type questions, right? Questions from the sales and marketing arena. Why should I pay attention to this? Why should I care? Well, that's a good question. Why should you allow your inner teacher to tell you what to do? Because your inner teacher is never wrong. The voice for God always speaks truly, always. Now, whether you do what's suggested is completely up to you. That's your choice. The voice for God always speaks truly and does not lead you astray, does not ever lead you astray. You lead yourself astray. I lead myself astray with ego-clinging thoughts. This is what we do in the world, appearing to be human beings. Here in the dream, that's the way we've set it up. And are you sick of that? Your inner teacher will not lead you astray. Of ourselves, we most certainly cannot guarantee a beautiful, completely 100% satisfactory outcome for every living thing throughout all space and time, can we? When we try to make decisions for ourselves in the world, it's very limited, often short-sighted, and we can't guarantee that it's for maximum beneficial effect for every living thing. However, your inner teacher can and does. It's up to us to listen, and that is the voice that I invite you to listen to. All right, so thank you, as always, for tuning in. The subscription button's right over here. I really appreciate having you all here. And what I appreciate more than the subscriptions and then the likes and the hearts and all of that, which is great, by the way, is your practice, your dedication and commitment to practice. So if this material speaks to you in any way and you've not yet subscribed, please go ahead and do so. And please feel welcome to leave comments or questions here. This path, any spiritual path, should raise as many questions as it answers at times. And I'm happy to serve as a resource, as a guide for you. Please feel welcome to, again, leave comments and questions right here. And also, if you're interested in longer discussion periods, in my bio, there is a link to my Patreon page where I have a weekly live stream, and I'm more than happy to connect with you there. So these videos appear several times a week because we always need the consistency. We always need to bring our minds back to what's really important right now, and that's listening to the voice of our inner teacher. Yes, let's all do that today. Thank you so much. I will see you soon.